Welcome back to another episode of the Bono's Real Estate Podcast. Today I have a pretty amazing guest, Bree Fitzgerald, better known as Prescott Homegirl. My name is Bo Bullard. I am with Pioneer Title here in Arizona. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in to another podcast. Bree, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we're going to jump right into it. But before we do that, for those who don't know you, introduce yourself.
I am Bree Fitzgerald. I am a realtor with Better Homes and Gardens Bloomtree in Prescott, Arizona here. I don't know. I always feel so funny, like, I don't know, introducing myself. But yeah, I have been an agent for 2 years, and I've grown up in Prescott since middle school. I finished college here. Worked here and bought my first house here, got married here. I actually married a Prescott local. Mm-hmm. It's a Prescott native, I should say. It's really hard to find those these days. But anyway, yeah, and I love it here. And my mom just always pushed me into getting into real estate. And so I finally was like, sure, I'll give it a whirl. And it turns out I freaking love it. So win-win there.
Yeah. Now, you recently just won an award.
I did.
Within Bloomtree. Tell them about that.
So I won a visionary award. It's actually through the Prescott Area Young Professionals.
Nice.
And I think it's just somebody who is got a strong sense of community and is doing good for the community and trying to build it, get people together. I had no idea I was nominated for this award or anything, so it was really surprising. I got a text and it was like, "Hey, congrats, you won this award," and I was like, "What?" And they emailed me, but I trashed it. I was like, I didn't think it was real. I was like, "Oh, sweet." So that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's being humble, people. She's being humble, but the Visionary Award is very fitting for Bree because she does do a lot of things in the community through social media that gains a lot of attention. And so congratulations on that award.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's jump right into the housing market talk.
Okay.
So there's been a lot of chat about that recently. Number one, what are your predictions for where home prices will go in 2023?
So in 2023, it's hard to say right now. Interest rates are higher and they keep talking about having another rate hike, all of that. And that goes hand in hand with the housing market and home prices. It makes homes less affordable for people and kind of, they get bumped out of the market. Right. So right now we are seeing a ton of price reductions. And so I think sellers are coming to terms that things are changing. We're not in the market that we were last year where they can shoot for the moon and they'll probably get priced over the moon and be happy. Things are settling down. We are seeing a lot more seller concessions and the price reductions. You can negotiate repairs more so many benefits to buyers. But when it comes to home prices, I think they'll continue to simmer down a little bit.
Right. And you mentioned seller concessions. Mm-hmm. What are seller concessions for people who don't know?
Seller concessions are like a dollar amount that a seller offers towards a buyer's needs. So whether that be their closing costs, they don't have money set aside for their closing costs, or towards their rate buy down. They want to get their interest rate down a little bit. The seller can offer a dollar amount to buy that down and get it in a little better range so their monthly payment's a little better. It's a dollar offer for the buyer from the seller.
That seller concessions and rate buy downs, like 2-to-1 buy downs and 3-to-1 buy downs, have been super big popular talk just recently. And so I think a lot of people will find that valuable. So another thing that has been popular right now is talk about, will there be a housing crash? What are your thoughts? Nobody knows what's going to happen, but Bree is very knowledgeable in the real estate space, especially in your market. So in your opinion, and in the best way that you can predict it, will there be a housing crash in going into 2023?
I do not believe there will be an actual crash. Of course, as we've seen recently, things are settling down. Homes are sitting on the market longer, and that's clear. We're all seeing that prices coming down. It all is relevant.
Right.
As in a crash, I do not see that happening. It may slow down even more so, especially in the holidays. That's typical.
Right.
But I think once interest rates start kind of going down again and come spring, I think is when a lot of people are predicting that things will kind of even out a little more so.
Right.
But when it comes to a crash, people are always going to need to sell and buy.
Right.
Whether that be, there was death in the family or a divorce or things happen in people's lives or a job change. I mean, it doesn't always have to be, gruesome and mortal, but it's people need to move. And especially for Prescott is a very, very highly desired place to live. We get a lot of people coming here. We have beautiful terrain, a lovely downtown. People are awesome. And I don't see a housing crash, especially for the Prescott area.
Okay, good news.
Yeah.
Here's a question that I'm curious to know your thoughts about. Mm-hmm. A lot of people question whether renting is better than owning or vice versa. What is your thoughts? Is owning or renting a better option, and why?
It depends on your situation.
Good answer.
It's just straight up right there. Of course, I think owning is a much better investment for somebody. You can get that appreciation in it. You own the house. You have you could do whatever you want with it when it comes to personalizing it. It's just a great, great investment to have. Sometimes though, based on your situation, renting might be the better option for you.
Right.
And sometimes buying just is not in the cards for you at that moment, but that doesn't mean that it can't ever be. Right. So owning is definitely better in my opinion if it is an option for you.
So somebody who is in that circumstance where it's just not a good idea to buy at the moment, but if they're wanting to buy, what do you think the first step for them should be towards going towards that home ownership process?
Okay, very first thing is get a trusted realtor, and they are going to walk you through every step of the way. They'll get a game plan for us. So what I do with people, I'll sit down. I don't like to call them a buyer consult, but that's what it is. But I call it like a coffee date because I'm very casual. But it's just a way to figure out their timeline and their goals. When is their lease up if they are renting? Right. Do they need to do a couple little credit repair stuff? Right. And then, of course, the very next step after getting your whole plan situated and knowing what your goals are, then you speak to a lender, figure out what you're actually qualified for.
Right. Yeah, I know. There's been a lot of people have been seeing home price decreases, and they think that that's a sign of a crash, that prices are going to just plummet. Mm-hmm. When in reality, if you look at the past 18 months, it's been a historically off the charts weird market. Mm-hmm. And when in reality, what we're seeing now is just the market normalizing. Totally. Would you agree? And so if you're thinking that prices right now, or the prices that they've been in the past 18 months are normal, then you just haven't been around long enough like me, or you haven't done enough research.
Right.
So I haven't been around a long time, but I've done research, and I say, well, the past 18 months have been great for real estate, like depending on who you are, they've been great, but that's not sustainable and it won't last.
Absolutely. Those low interest rates we saw just, a year ago, that was completely unsustainable.
Right.
Like that was not going to last.
Right. No.
And there was no way it could. So right now they're basically trying to fix that. We're adjusting, and sellers, when it comes to pricing their home right, going on the market, they're finally starting to adjust and realize, that dollar, my zestimate,
right.
which is never right, is definitely not right, especially if you were looking at it, 6+ months ago.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense. Mm-hmm. So you had brought up get with a trusted lender.
Yes. This
is something that people have different opinions on. Is it important to you that your clients use a local lender?
Oh my God, yeah. Like, that's like a no-brainer in my mind. Local lenders, why? So local lenders, they have, especially for our small town,
Yeah.
they have a reputation. People know them. And if you are submitting an offer on behalf of your buyer, and they have a trusted lender's name on there, the seller's agent can say, I know that lender, I trust them, this is a strong pre-qual or pre-approval. So there's that. Plus, their communication is by far much better than you're going to get with a big bank.
Right.
You, a lot of times you can get a hold of them after 5 or even
Right.
on the weekends if you need something done, like right now.
Right.
And stuff comes up.
Right.
So those are the two big reasons why I love working with local lenders.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, and I tell this to people all the time, it's so important that during the real estate transaction, you have a team, and an actual team that you can tell your buyer or your seller that, hey, I know Bo, I know Renee, I know who's the lender they use all the time?
I use Danelle Riggs.
Danelle Riggs. Mm-hmm. So I know Danelle, like she's a friend. Mm-hmm. Bo's a friend. Like yes. Renee's a friend. That speaks volumes to I believe your customers.
So on that, when I was first got into real estate, I remember reading something about how, everybody has a friend in the business. Yeah. When it comes to, especially realtors, there's a million of us. Everybody is a realtor. Right. So if they have a friend in the biz, if they have a friend who's a realtor, why not be that friend?
Right.
And so this is a very relationship-based business, and same with you, the lenders that we work with, the title agents, all of us. And so if someone sees you as a friend and can trust you, it's going to go smoothly.
Right. It's going to go super smooth. So on that same point, escrow, how do you look at escrow? What value do you put on escrow? And mind you, I'm with the escrow and title company, but Bree and I have a different relationship. We work on marketing stuff together. We do that type of thing, but you use Pioneer Title.
I do
frequently, and you work with Renee. How important is the escrow company in your business?
Oh, it's like any question that I have that I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
When it comes to, anything title related, the title commitment, property stuff, that's who I call. Even if they don't have the answer for me right then and there, they direct me of where I need to get that answer.
Right.
So that is like, and same with my clients. I know they can get a hold of one of you guys and get an answer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I think it goes back again to the team that you can build around you. I think that it's great to have you and I are friends, you and Danelle are friends. Like, I think that's great. But even more important, I think that the consumer, when they can tell that you have a team that you work with, mm-hmm. I think that just speaks volumes, because they know that, okay, they know who to contact. Because a lot of times, and I'm sure I've seen this, there can be an agent in the title company or an agent in the lender or the title company and the lender who don't get along. Mm-hmm. And the title, you can feel it. Mm-hmm. Or even worse, the real estate agent talks poorly about the lender. That scares the consumers. Like, they don't want that. They want somebody who knows that they have a whole team working for them and that they'll get it done no matter what. And they won't talk bad about each other. And so I think what you're saying is so important. So
totally.
We are going to take an actual quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about social media.
Cool.
All right, we're back. And like I said, we're going to jump into some social media content here. So you are known probably better than your actual name as Prescott Homegirl instead of Bree. So yes. Prescott Homegirl, you're famous in the community for that.
Famous?
You are famous in the community for that. And your mom walks. Yes. I want to get into both of those things. Explain, though, how the Prescott Homegirl brand came about.
Okay. I don't even know. It was like just, it just happened. So, like I said, I got into real estate. My mom got me into real estate. Uh-huh. So I work actually as a partner team with her. I love it. She's amazing.
Awesome. Yeah.
Taught me everything I know. Props to my mom.
Shout out to mom.
Yes. So anyway, when I got licensed, I knew I wanted to make a business social page, mostly Instagram, but I was in my email. So I don't know why I was so caught up on this stuff, because I wanted it to feel like me. I wanted it to feel like my personality. So everybody, when they get into real estate, seems like got the whole, Bree sells Prescott. or
Yeah.
I don't know, something very generic like that, and I just couldn't do it. I like refused, so I sat on it for a little while. I didn't make an email or a social like handle right away, and
Uh-huh.
I thought about it, and then the next day I texted. Actually, I didn't say it out loud. I thought of it. I thought of Prescott Homegirl. I was like, is that too cheesy? Like, are people gonna think I'm immature?
Yeah.
And then the next day, my mom texted me and was like, what about Prescott Homegirl? And I'm like, this is meant to be.
Yeah,
Yep,
light
mom
bulb.
said so.
Yeah, and so the Prescott Homegirl brand is you are famous in the Prescott
So
market, and but it's so cool because it's so fitting. Like you're so, what's the word I'm looking for? You're so just into the community.
Yeah.
And you're doing things constantly. You are the Prescott Homegirl. And but I'm curious, how has that helped you in your business in real estate?
So the biggest thing is it has just really truly connected me with so many people, that I feel like otherwise I wouldn't have ever been friends with.
Right.
And I love it. Seriously, I love the friendships I've created from. So my mom walks. I'm a mom of 2 kids. I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I thought it would be so fun. I knew so many other people with young kids. I'm part of a moms group on Facebook, and I always see people saying like, I just want to get out of the house. Do any moms want to meet up? Like, I don't know anybody here, or they're new to town and they don't know anybody and they don't even know what to do. So let's just get together and very casually go on a mom walk around the square and just chat about whatever. I mean, it's been amazing. I've seen people become friends from these walks. I've become friends with all of these people. And their kids, our kids get to play. And I've heard, moms walking and they might not have anybody else to talk to. And they're talking about their birth stories. They're talking about the struggles they're having with their kids, or
That's awesome.
or like amazing things happen. Like, it's just so important to me. I love the conversations that come out of it. And it's not just your little day-to-day talk, like, how are you? What are you doing today? It's like your struggles, your achievements, what you plan on doing, what do you want to do, what did you used to do in the past? It's just more deep. And I think that is just, especially for moms, we need all the support we can get.
Absolutely. Well, so here's the thing that I have noticed about the Prescott Homegirl brand, and then the famous mom walks, which I want to get more into. But when you actually, let's do this first. Explain how the mom walks came about, and explain how that has helped your business.
Yeah. Okay. So mom walks came about. I'd actually thought about it for a really long time, but I just held off because I was like, nobody cares. Nobody wants to come hang out or walk their kids. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I felt like I didn't have the community that I do now. I didn't think anybody would show up.
Okay.
So, and there, from the beginning, sometimes it was only 1 or 2 people, which whatever, I was going on a walk anyways. I'm going to be down there. So anyway, I started just, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this every month. This is something, if I'm consistent with it, people can make it. And then I just started getting interest in people being like, when's the next one happening? I love to see this, I want to come, I want to bring my kids, I want to meet you, whatever.
That's awesome.
So they just kind of grew after being consistent, and it's just been so fun. And then when it comes to my business, so mom walks, I don't talk about my business during my mom walks. This is strictly like just a
social gathering.
So yeah, exactly. So but of course real estate always comes up because people know that's what I do and they have questions and I'm their go-to. So that's exactly what it comes from. I've created friendships where these people that know me and they're friends with me and my kids, they're now my referral partners. Anybody they know, maybe they don't need my real estate needs right now, but they know somebody that does. And or maybe something comes up and who's the first person they think of? Oh, we were just on a walk yesterday, so it's Prescott Homegirl.
Oh, well, and I think so. Here's where I was going earlier. I think with your mom walks, here's what I have noticed. Number one, they are absolutely genuine. You're not doing this to go and start handing them out listing presentations.
Oh, never. I don't give anybody my card.
Yeah.
It's not something like that. I will say my Halloween one, I did little goodie bags.
Of course.
And of course I'm going to put my little heart in there because, but that's my appreciation to them for coming. And
Yeah.
of course I gotta promote myself a little bit.
Oh, of course. Well, but see, I think that the reason that it's working for you is that it is genuine. People show up and they talk about their birth stories and they talk about the same problems that they have with their kids and struggles, and they talk about all of that, and you give them that space to do that. And now at the same time, you are a successful branded real estate agent, the Prescott Homegirl.
Mm-hmm.
So they know that you're a real estate agent, but they also know that Bree is my friend, and Bree is somebody that I look up to maybe, and that I spend a lot of time with on these mom walks. And you make them feel really good. This is what I have noticed. And so I think that it's wildly successful. It's different than what anybody else is doing in the community. And so kudos for that.
Thank you.
Because
that's all very, very nice. I really appreciate all
no,
that.
yeah. And so my main point of it is that it's genuine. And I think no matter what you want to do, if you want to start a bowling team,
totally,
and go bowling with people. But I think where Bree has kind of won this game is that she branded herself first, and then you leverage that, maybe not even knowing it, but you leverage that brand to get together, but people know you as a real estate agent. To where when they have, like you said, when they have that thought of I'm looking to buy or sell, or even more importantly in my mind, I know of this person who's looking to relocate. I know of one agent only, and she's my friend. Yeah. So I'm going to fight for her even harder than some random person that I run into.
And they see I'm working as a mom. I've got my kids with me, and I have a family. Like, this is everything I do. Those cute little kids you see all the time, that's why I work so hard. And, when you call me, you might hear them screaming a little bit in the background. But, hey, we're going to get shit done is really what's going to happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so kind of going into a little bit more micro social media.
Okay.
What is your favorite social media platform?
Instagram. Easy.
Why is Instagram your favorite?
Instagram, I know it. I'm good at it. That's where I've built my community. Mm-hmm. My people are there. I'm just comfortable with all the ins and outs of it. So it's easy for me to do a story real quick, and it's just right there. So it's that's just the one I've taught myself to be familiar with the most. And that's where I get my business the most.
So you and I kind of have different strategies on Instagram as far as just the way we brand ourselves. I think that, so your brand is aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
You have all the right colors. You have the matching, it's super aesthetic. Yeah, the fonts, everything. Do you think that that's important for somebody to do?
If your end consumer likes that too, it's totally like a personal preference.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I think it looks nice, and I like to have a cohesive theme going, and that's just how I am. I mean, you'll see it in my emails. If you get my email newsletters, they're going to look the same color.
Branding.
Yeah, I just like that, everything to match. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because I know people struggle with that, and they're like, well, how do you make it look so pretty? And it's like Canva, but it doesn't have to be
right.
So it's just, it depends also on who are you trying to reach, what are they interested in, and what are they connecting with.
Yeah.
And that's really,
right. I think knowing your audience is critical.
Yeah.
Another question on Instagram. You're comfortable with Instagram, you know the ins and outs, but you didn't when you first started.
No, I didn't.
What is your advice for somebody who wants to get started but just doesn't know all the ins and outs?
Dude, you just do it. You just have to practice. So when I first got licensed, I started my Instagram. I had my 5 likes on every post that were my sister, my mom, and my husband. It does not just blow up out of nowhere. You have to just do it. And if I look back to my very first post, it looks nothing like what it looks like now. And I just dove in and made myself do it. And that's really the bottom line, is to just do it and practice, just play around with things. People are always like, how do I make a reel? The first reel I ever made was so stupid, but the caption was literally like, first reel, just practicing, basically. Like, nobody cares. And that's how I started kind of playing with it. And it's not going to be exactly what you want it to be at first, but that's how you grow and learn and get to where you want to be. And that can go for all aspects of life.
Oh, Very nice. Yeah, I think that I've been thinking about something a lot recently, and that something is at this point in the game on social media, it's not necessarily about you having the fear of posting and then people judging you. For me, at this point, it's about posting something and just getting people to watch it.
Yeah.
Because especially on Instagram, it's so oversaturated with video and especially with photos. Photos are not even being really pushed anymore. But especially with video, a lot of people are putting out video content. And so my goal at this point is just to get people to watch my content, make good enough content, interesting enough content to where people want to watch it.
Right.
And so I don't know if that's something that you've been struggling with or not, but like you get a lot of engagement, you get a lot of views, but I'm trying to think about people who maybe have that fear of putting something out there and then having people just judge them.
So yeah, that comes up a lot. And then there's the whole what is it called? Sorry, I'm blanking.
Filters.
No. It's the
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome.
Syndrome. Where, you don't feel like you should be the one, like, where are you to say anything about real estate if you're a new
Right.
agent or whatever. Like, and that is big, and it is hard to overcome. But when it comes to feeling judged, I just don't give a shit anymore. That's really what it comes down to. And if someone does not like your stuff, this is your page, this is your corner of the world, and you have control of it, and you could do whatever you want.
Right.
If somebody doesn't connect with that, the unfollow button is like right there. So
Yeah,
go for it, bud. Nobody cares. That's
Yeah.
not your client
You don't wanna work
or
with them
customer.
anyways.
Exactly.
Right.
So, or your friend, maybe.
Right.
Maybe it was a friend. Maybe you're scared to post something because so and so from 10 years ago might judge you, and for some
Right.
reason you have that stuck in your head, and it's
Right.
like, let it go.
Yep.
And that person does not want to see you win.
Yeah.
So why are we trying to please them?
That person has no role in whether you are successful or not.
Yeah.
And what I have seen, honestly, is that when people start putting out content on social media, they find friends who are not even really maybe in their market, but you will find people on social media who are in the trenches like you are. We were just talking about this a little while ago. You are playing the game. Don't allow the people on the bench to judge you and to make you feel bad about actually trying to do something good. Because
Totally.
when you're out here doing something and they're just sitting watching the peanut gallery while they're doing nothing, that should inspire you to do even more because you're actually the one playing the game. They're just watching.
Yep.
And so I think Bree's advice, just start, is some of the best advice for anybody who is wanting to but afraid of judgment. Just get over that. Start. Know that you are going to do something good. It's going to be beneficial to you. So great advice. Is there any platforms on your radar right now that you're wanting to start putting content out?
Yeah, I mean, I should. I would like to be more consistent, and I don't even know how to use it, more so on TikTok. I don't know why. I have not connected with TikTok. It is, I don't know. But anyway, I should. I know it's good. And then I know you're doing YouTube shorts. That's probably also something I should really jump into. But, I don't know why. It's one of those things. I found the one I'm good at, so I'm sticking with it. And I keep that mindset where I probably should really branch out now that I've grown it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I'm always the one kind of pushing people to try different platforms and be everywhere so that people on all different platforms that may not be on Instagram. But my mindset's kind of changing a little bit. You have to be comfortable with what you're doing, and you have to be able to sustain what you're doing. And so you're busy. You're a mom of 2 little kids. You're married. You're a real estate agent. You're doing mom walks. Like, you're busy. And you have a personal life that you're trying to also do. So if
not really,
if just doing Instagram, because you dominate Instagram, let's just be real. If just doing Instagram is something that you feel is what you can do and what is what you're comfortable with, I'm starting to say, great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you. If you want to just do Instagram, if you just want to do TikTok, if you just want to be on YouTube, great.
If you're good at it and consistent, because that's like, the next most important thing. Not only just doing it, but the consistency is like right up there.
Huge.
And that's where I am going to be consistent. Like I'll go a week and I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to try TikTok. I'm going to be so good this week. I'm going to post like a couple things.
Yeah.
I do it 1 week and then I'm like, eh. And therefore it's not doing anything for me. So, whoa.
There's always birds in this podcast. If you're familiar with episode 3, there was a bunch of birds. Okay. Yeah, I think consistency. Any other, since we're on this topic of tips, any other tips? So let's just stay on Instagram.
Okay.
Consistency. Just start. Consistency. What's like the third one?
Be you. Just straight up. Authenticity. Be silly, goofy, knowledgeable. There's a value piece, but really the general thing is like authentically be you and confident in that. So that comes back to imposter syndrome and all of that, but really, you know, I have a potty mouth clearly. And you'll hear me say something on my page once in a while. And it's like, my clients a lot of times may hear it too. And I'm like, what the hell? Or, you know, it just happens. It's just me. But not even just that. That's obviously not all me, but like everything, all your little things. I shared a story yesterday. Me and my son were laughing at a pumpkin that looked like a butt. And
I saw it.
I'm sorry, but butts and farts, I don't care how old you are, that's funny. So anyway, just I try to be real.
Yeah. Well, I think that last sentence there is huge. Just be real. Be legitimately who you are. 100%. And you will attract people who are attracted to that. I think that is so huge because I'm sure you see it. I see it all the time where people on social media will try to just be somebody else. And it's like, be who you are on social media, because the goal is to get people to become attracted to you, especially in the real estate space, become attracted to you to where they want to work with you. And if you are somebody that's not you, if you're being fake on social media and then you meet them in person, and you're you, it's gonna fall apart.
Totally.
Then they're gonna call Bree.
Well, she seemed real. She said shit. I'm gonna with her. So another thing on that is, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No,
because we're being funny. What was I gonna say? Well, dang it.
We're talking about being real, being you.
Okay, yes, sharing your struggles. Like, I do this too. Especially when you look at my page, my posts, they all look happy and great and smiley and everything's fantastic. And I'm like selling $1 million house every other day. That's just straight up not true. But in my stories, that's where you get like all my personality. And a lot of times I'll share, I'm trying to write up a contract and I just take a story real quick and I pan over to what my house looks like or what my 1-year-old is doing as I'm trying to work. And it's not pretty. It looks like a tornado came through. Just yesterday, I was writing up a contract and working on some things on my computer, and then I was like, okay, it's a little quiet. Let's check up on things here. So I go over and I see my daughter got into a huge tub of Vaseline. And she's just lathering it. It's in her hair. It's on her legs. She's stoked. She's like, lotion.
She's loving life.
And, I will tell you, she is very moisturized now, but that shit was a mess.
Well, here's the thing that I think documenting that is so critical. I think not one word, relatable. Everybody who has kids, who has dogs, who has family, who is a person. If you're a person, you're going to relate to other people at some level. And I think what you do is you bring that to the table, but you do it at scale.
Well, I do it with my mom's stuff because that's how everybody knows me. And, they've also got toddlers and they're trying to work too. And it's just life.
Yeah, it is. Well, and so something that I've been also thinking about a lot recently as far as coming up with content, because that can be challenging. That's a question I get a lot is, well, I don't know what to post. Yep, exactly. And what I have been thinking about a lot recently is what you do a really good job at, and that is documenting over creating. So you document your life, the good and the bad, right? And you find people who relate to that. And I think that's awesome. So kind of to shift gears here, I want to know, so far in your real estate career, what has been the most rewarding real estate closing that you've had? And she's had a lot of closings.
I think the most rewarding one was I sold. It was actually my very first listing, and it was an older house, and it had a lot of stuff, It was a good property, but it was just dated and deferred maintenance, all the things.
Right.
And so I represented the seller, and then I also ended up getting the buyer. So not only my first listing, but I also did dual agency on my very first listing.
Okay.
So it was tough. You're doing the work for everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't want to share too much of the details about it, but just learn how much I learned in that. I was freshly licensed pretty much, just a couple, probably like 6 months, I'd say.
Yeah.
And also had a newborn at the time. So just a lot of stuff going on. So when I closed that deal, like trying to, the both parties to the transaction were not the easiest. It was just kind of messy. And when I closed that, it was just like a weight lifted off of me. And, I knew everybody was happy. We got to the end goal. There were some hiccups, but the amount that I learned, not only real estate wise in the transaction, when it comes to property stuff, my own communication style and how to deal with when people are fired up and how to simmer them down and really come to a conclusion that everybody's happy. That really, I think all of those things I could just once I closed was like, woo,
right.
I can breathe again.
Right. Well, I think what I took away from that story is first deal ever, and you were thrown into the lion's den.
Yeah.
Right? Now, that was probably stressful in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
During that transaction, it was probably extremely stressful. However, after all the things that you learned, it was probably totally worth it.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. I would definitely say it's always worth it.
Right.
What we do is it gets messy and things come up out of nowhere, and then things are fine. And you're like, yeah, we're good to go. We're going to close. And then something else happens.
Right.
And just at the flick of a button. And so, it's just really, it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we're going to wrap up here. But before we do, and Bree has been thinking real hard about this last one.
God.
I have the guest ask the question of the day. So Bree, you have it yet? Is going to ask the question of the day.
All right. Okay, we're going to go basic because I can't think of anything else. Would you rather live forever without coffee or what's a good one? Tacos? Can people live without tacos? I don't know.
It's extremely difficult. Would you rather live the rest of your life without
no
coffee?
Can't have coffee. Not even decaf.
Not even
we're just
decaf.
Straight up out of there. Yeah.
Answer in the comments. Would you rather live the rest of your life not ever having a sip of coffee again, not even decaf, or would you like to live the rest of your life never having tacos? That's deep.
Tacos. I cannot live without coffee. This is absolutely necessary for everybody around me, not just myself.
I don't think I can answer that. I really don't.
You're that big into tacos? I mean, I know people tacos.
Some carne asada tacos with some homemade salsa.
And
guac. Sour cream.
And like a hot salsa.
Yeah, maybe a
Do you
cold
like hot sauce?
Coke.
Hot, spicy stuff?
Yeah.
Good.
Kind of depends on the time of day. I don't know. That's a weird answer.
Weird. That's really
funny. For lunchtime, I can't do that because
heartburn? Do you get heartburn?
Sometimes.
That's not why.
Sometimes. But yeah, it's time of day for me. So anyways, answer that in the comments. Bree, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Prescott Homegirl. Facebook's the same, but who uses Facebook anymore? Come on, let's be honest. Easy peasy.
Awesome. Follow her on social media. Thank you so much for watching or listening. See you next time.
Thanks for having me, Bo.
Thank you.